The two Mongolian teams in the lower bracket. One of our favorites in the Mongols. Like, these guys basically championed their way into having an extra slot for Asia for the majors, and now they're here in the lower bracket for Jönköping. That's not exactly the best look, especially against a squad that was so kind of new, fresh, a little unknown in LYG to a certain extent. It is wild to think that we fight for our lives in this opening round between the two Mongolian squads, one with a lot of track record, the other with some uncertainty, and even though they're maybe a rising stock, the fact that Annihilation hasn't hit the ground running with the squad already is a little concerning. Inferno, and it's a brawl straight down middle already for this pistol round that ATOX seem to have come out the way better end of.
I believe the term is madness in Mongolia. Because that's exactly what's happening in middle. Now, unless 910 can pull together the pistol round off his life, well, he's not going to have a life for much longer. Come on, 910, I know you've got it in you. Dobu, dead man. 910, looking for a few more. Zesta on the fadeaway, Mix caught out. He's making a show of it, but unfortunately the curtain call does come down, and so does Techno right behind him. First round on the board for ATOX as they start out strong.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very odd way for the pistol to have sort of unfolded. Sure, aggressive pushes down middle aren't unusual, but to see basically 4 players on either squad just brawling in those fights is a bit strange. But they're ready to fight each other at the very start of that pistol, just getting it out of the way. And yeah, ATOX did a much better job of hitting headshots faster than their opponent. I can't really, you know, try and make that sound extravagant. It was anything but. Now, I wouldn't say we were watching all of the Mongols game against LYG. How could we? We had our own game to watch for ATOX. But I did hear from B-Dog Brandon on the other stream that there was a couple moments where the Mongols just felt like they got very committed to one philosophy or like one stream of ideas, and they got punished a few times, and then they kept doing it even more afterwards, and they kept getting punished. So do wonder if the Mongols have maybe entered this Jönköping qualifier with a bit of a chip on their shoulder, maybe with a point to prove on some dynamics of testing out on maps. But I wonder if that exploration might prove to be a weakness exploited.
Techno had a pretty good series, according to the numbers at least. Flash overhead, and he's hoping for a few more. Techno, 5-7 galore. bLitz has got a Mac 10, and they have brought down the mowdown. Mongols on the board in a way that you maybe don't expect. It's the two longest standing members. They've got the most chemistry, and they've got the most frags.
That is absurd. I mean, the flash lineup from Techno was great, but he hit some really fast shots. I thought bLitz actually coming through that smoke dealt with that second player inside a pool, but instead just gets his hands on an SMG and they obliterate them. They absolutely annihilate them before they even get into the B-bomb site. That's the problem with running through smokes, is that you do feel like you're at a disadvantage. Yeah, their behest. Only hoping for misses.
Hey, Cabal has one of those at home. bLitz now. Doesn't even need to come through. Mzinho's already struck true for the first one. Mzinho now sideswiping in. And Miniped is a graveyard, even if there's already a graveyard on Inferno. Turns out there's 2 of those.
Yeah, another missed beat here for the Mongols. Might have lost out on the pistol round. That's only because it was so strange. And straight into winning ways. I mean, they go into a force buy, into just a very clean conversion against the force in response from ATOX. I mean, the Mongols, you know, it's very rare. I really see them with too many emotions, but after that game against LYG, I have a feeling they're a little pissed.
I mean, their social media definitely having spikes on it.
And also the way that they're just playing, you know? I feel like there's a bit of underlying aggression
Yeah,
just
they've got
emotionally.
some anger management issues that they're dealing with in the game. Just like a lot of us do, really. It's a great outlet for emotions and making sure that you can, you know, bring it all together on the server.
Yeah, you can either write music or play Counter-Strike. Or some people do both.
Enough about UKCS comms.
We don't all sound like like we're producing grime when we're calming. That's not how that works.
No, I just mean you guys mute your IGLs and listen to music instead.
The man them in the apartments.
Meg had a game in the previous series. He had 2, in fact. Fortunately, this is not a round where he can actually display any of that skill.
We had that. I do like the Mongols a lot for the fact they're engaged in the vlogging behind the scenes and social media presence. I feel like we had some good interviews. You know, bLitz fronting a lot of them.
Yeah.
I feel like he's taken a lot of inspiration from Jame Time vlogs, doing it himself. I mean, he is the in-game leader from the Mongolian region, but yeah, it's always very insightful finding out that MIQ is Mongolian IQ. Hoping to display that he has very high IQ. Nice kill in through mid. 910 firing off that AWP shot, but then hunted down. And Zesta has found another kill inside the apartments. They know where bLitz is last located. Just getting that Molotov down. And so Zesta's gonna take some space towards Mini Pit. And he actually does some damage, but bLitz comes the better end of the duel. The trade needed to be there, but now bLitz has got a handle on the situation. And the flash is being thrown in from Senzu, buying space. A shot on the AWP, but Cabal there to keep him away. And now Techno left in a 1 versus 2 versus very unhealthy players.
Yo, what are they feeding these guys? They've still got some sort of beast inside them, and Techno, he's not even been needed so far. He's the only one who's actually got a bit of a break in his carpet. He wants to still charge through. Annihilation is gone, and Cabal with 17 HP will come up with the second round of ATOX, but bLitz was just a madman in the A side there.
Yeah, I mean, just barreled through. He knew that he had a flash coming as well and was hoping that was just strong enough that he could have found a third frag. But almost in a sense, you know, because the spacing was off for ATOX, able to dodge out on that utility. And fortunately for the Mongols, the ATOX side being that successful in some of those opening bouts does convert them into another round. This is a very tricky position to be in with an AWP. 910 inserting himself into Boiler.
They're trying very hard to find Zesta because of the success he's been able to get early on with getting apartment control. And this was something that ATOX prioritized a fair bit on the CT side, and it didn't go well for them in the previous map versus, well, previous match versus Inferno. But it does seem to be a core part of their success over here so far. Good nade though, and better damage. Oh my god.
Had he only spammed a few more bullets, Cabal would have been done for straight through that smoke.
Warning shots. You let Cabal live only for their history together.
Very static on the Mongolian, or rather on the Mongol side. Both sides, of course, being Mongolian. And that's kind of an antithesis to what went wrong the last time ATOX played this map. And so just being allowed to slow work areas, Mick finding his kill into the archers, and he's done better than just the one. bLitz was there to maybe deal with him, trade it back. It's only Techno that holds onto this B bomb site, but he needed a multi-frag. A 4-on-2. ATOX breaching into B, and they still have Mick holding off rotates through those archers.
Yeah, Mongols are definitely going to have to go back and save this one. The op's not going to be involved in any way, shape, or form. 910. A couple of positions where it felt like he was in a good spot to actually find a frag, but he's not able to get the timing shot onto the Boiler player, despite the damage dealt. bLitz can't get the follow-ups either, so stacking 4 players into A and then having Mick exploit Senzu like that, that's going to be painful, to say the least.
Yeah. And part of the point I was trying to explore is that, you know, Lin, when we saw them on their CT side of Inferno, it felt like they were constantly finding the right time to strike in those mid rounds, whether it was, you know, getting deep control over towards Banana or going for, you know, a bit of presence towards the apartments. Feels like the Mongols were just sitting in very traditional, very static locations, and in a way, you know, we're flying very blind as to what the ATOX side were doing. Even though there was a bit of utility thrown, and, you know, from that you can sort of extrapolate or you can make a read. The Mongols getting caught out by just that lurking presence of Mick is kind of an example of what ATOX just kind of failed to do against Lin Vision. Felt like in those moments, Lin suffocated them.
Timing is good. We've seen this 5-7 do so much work before, but Dobu's at least got the kill from beyond the grave. Techno dying to the full molly, but what? Mick? A rare mistake out in Banana, exposing himself completely, almost loses his life for it, and Cabal does. Back in apps, Cabal, one of the first times he's actually explored that avenue this late into the round with 9-10 still holding, and he can't quite get the better of him.
Such an essential frag for 9-10 as well, because he has no help over on this A side. They went for a full 4-man B stack, and after the initial bout where they go 1-for-1, now they've looked to reinforce 9-10's position. There's just too much responsibility for one man to bear, especially in AWP. The first set of kills is good. 9-10 and Mzinho playing off of one another. And even though there was a bit of team damage, I think, thrown the way of Mzinho, bLitz was behind him and trying to offer a helpful hand. They get a handle on it. That was not a premium buy from the Mongols. They still had pistols about, and sure, they had a few rifles, but they put those rifles to very great effect.
We saw some very similar stuff coming out from ATOX as well against Lin, which was the 1 player on A, 4 players back towards the B side as well. Or rather, that was from Lin, my bad, not from ATOX. Did seem to be giving them a lot to work with. 9-10 late round peak down mid to hold on because of that smoke. Still a little bit risky. At any given point, you could be swarmed through by the second mid. That's where bLitz comes into play. That's where bLitz has to be helpful. But you know what? Annihilation, slow crawl forwards don't really help out. bLitz knows where Zesta is, but knowledge is not power. Gone whipped to the head fast enough at 9-10. Now holds on to brackets once again. Flashes very few available. Cabal the only one with one, and Mick has caught out as 9-10 to be aggressive to get that information. Zesta, gotta be careful. It's gonna be coming your way, and 9-10 would have made it immaterial regardless. This time, the timing shot hits, and Cabal around the corner is not ready. 9-10 keeps it going.
And Senzu had somehow managed his way behind Dobu. I think he was ready to almost get himself a knife kill, but Dobu turns, and so the round is finished. What a hold from 9-10, constantly catching them out. bLitz was that first instigator inside of the apartments, but it felt like ATOX were just getting shot in the side, getting shot from positions they weren't expecting the Mongols to be aggressive in. Just a total misread to the rhythm that the Mongols were implementing on that CT effort. Now on the back foot, economically, and the score now reaching a higher differential. And what's most likely to be a Mongols conversion against these pistols. It's, I mean, I have to say, it's looking good that we're getting some of these multi-kills from players that have been so instrumental in making the Mongols probably one of the most successful teams, at least, I mean, in the Asian region, almost certainly. But, you know, they're in contest to be one of the best Asian scene teams we've really had in the scene for the last 5 years.
I think in the history of CSGO, the Mongols is definitely at least, you know, top 2 now.
Yeah.
What they've been able to do for the Asian scene and for themselves, and just in terms of international accomplishments, arguably at a time when the scene is more competitive than it ever has been. No one in apps this time, but Mick will still fall to the nade and a spam of bLitz.
prospects aren't very high for ATOX in rounds like these. All Glocks. Mick was mollied out and then naded, so his round was not one to really... I mean, nobody would really want to be in that position themselves.
Yeah.
Never really given a chance. And none of these Glocks really are.
I just realized something, Michael. We missed out on a timeline. This was Strales of having both bLitz and Snappy in the same scene. Because if anyone's out of the loop, back in 2021, I think, Tiger, the Mongolian organization, was looking to get both Snappy and Smooya to join them. Which would have been nuts if you start to think of what the effects could have been on the scene if you had like two, great IGLs coming in and sort of playing together.
Well, two great players. I don't know about IGLs, but...
Yeah, Snappy's not good. You're right.
Wait.
I was talking about Blitz and Snappy together.
Oh, I see.
Dobu comes through. He's a bit of a great IGL himself as well, and you know what? He's one who can frag, just like the best of them.
Well, free utility. Don't mind if I do. And HE as well, that could help him find a kill. Blows open the smoke, but no one was crossing out the time there for ATOX, and that was probably their best chance of finding some kind of way back in on this retake. As you can see, they've still got bLitz set up on A, just kind of clearing a bit of a perimeter for his teammates to come meet up with him. But timing makes it a little awkward, and, well, apparently not for bLitz. Cabal was somewhat suspicious of the idea of someone being inside of mini pit and pit, but not for the top side of the apartments. So these players can save. ATOX, all they needed was to find a set of clean entries, and Bob's your uncle, that's the B-bomb site taken. That's one of the things and one of the drawbacks we definitely see with Inferno. I do think it's kind of, in a lot of senses, fallen out of favor, especially with MR12. You know, there's restrictions on how many rounds you can play. You know, for Inferno, I think one of the things that really made it very compelling, especially in Deciders, is that you saw adaptations, you saw weakness exploits, you saw, changes to how people were going to play very dynamically in the rounds, and, feel like you need several rounds to really display that. Now with more limitations, the economy where it is, things can be a bit more difficult, so you see a lot of teams adopting what is the economic routing on their decision tree. Sometimes 1 kill, 2 kills is all it really takes.
Double up for the Mongols as we head into the 11th round. It's something that they have played with a lot. They're one of the few teams in the top 20-ish that actually go for this regularly. And you can see why they want to do it, with Senzu being as skilled as he is on the weapon, but sometimes it does feel like they're digging their own grave with it. Right now, their money is good enough. Should be fine. Shouldn't really be an issue. But let's see whether or not Senzu can actually pull the trigger when it comes to these duels. First flashbang forces him away, and, well, his teammate's already down. Senzu needs to put up a show, and so far the lights and camera are on, but there's no action to be had. Molly, nade, good stuff, all of it. Great damage, but it's bLitz who's being boosted up to actually come through and deliver the finishing blow. Bomb is down, Mick is as well. bLitz traded, but time has been bought. Mzinho starts to push forward in middle, and Senzu's got clear sightlines to prevent them from going back to new box. He's able to get that first shot, but he's being held on to for now. Zesta is hoping to find the frag, and he does do so. Good flashbang, and the Molotov from Mzinho could be what forces Zesta out of position while Dobu dies on Banana. Actually, Molly not even needed from 910. They know where Zesta is. Moving back to the other side of the back site, Zesta now wants to try and frag out with Mzinho, but a Molotov to force him in the open. He's got another head, make it two! Beautiful round from Zesta, bringing it all back from Senzu to Mzinho.
910, I mean, that looked like a critical error. He was about to smoke off the entrance to Banana. And Mzinho had just come from there. or so I may have those nameplates the wrong direction, but it felt like comms had somewhat broken down there from the Mongols. Things getting weird. What a great job from Zesta, repositioning, finding instant kills. Exactly what ATOX needed at the end of this half. And they can bridge the gap, get themselves up to a tie scoreline before moving into that CT side, where I was just talking about some of the limitations, and now Zesta has heated up. Finding a kill inside of the apartments, a very forward play from 910. Forcing the peel back, and bLitz almost gets caught lackadaisical, a little maybe unaware of the possibility, but able to adapt in time. But now Mzinho's trapped into this cubby. Thing is, Dobu didn't seem any the wiser, Mick as well, falling in through middle, and now they're clamoring to get any space right back, and Senzu has stopped them in their tracks. But here's that Annihilation AWP. Senzu dealt with, and these two other players too far away to contest it, so it should be a plant available, but Annihilation's hunting.
Won't be able to find the frag, though. Can I introduce you guys to the flashbangs in Annihilation's pockets? Feel like probably want to use them, but maybe they can use them in the next half. ATOX have got a lot of talking to do, and we're going to be back after they've done it.
A Mongolian derby that ends in a 7-5 half for the Mongols after being disappointed in that opening bout versus LYG. The East Russians send them to the lower bracket, and we have ourselves these two Mongolian squads fighting for a chance to play in Sweden, Jönköping. But it only starts here and now, this first map in the series, and the Mongols having an edge moving into T side of Inferno.
Well, We've seen this one before. CT's down middle, but they're not quite as contested. 910's the only one to try and hold them down. bLitz is going to be very late to the party if he wants to try and flank them in. But with the bomb, he can actually try and sidestep this entirely. Senzu fighting back from Banana. It feels like roles are being reversed, but regardless of what's happening with the roles, bLitz is uncomfortable. Surrounded by enemies, good for the one. Mongols will concede that pistol.
Yeah, they maybe a bit surprised that, wait a second, they did what we did, but we didn't do what they did. It's strange to think that they both went for the same CT opening and just running down middle, but the Mongol side were just not as prepared. They did have a nice flashbang lined up from the bottom of T steps that did catch the ATOX members as they tried to fight into Banana, but the Mongols players just couldn't convert on those frags quite quick enough by the time they were in those duels. The flash had worn off. So just in with pistols.
No force fires this time. One of the things that I was talking about with Maui Snake was that I genuinely think that Mongols going into the major was one of the best teams on Force Spice T side that we had in the entire event, because it felt like they were one of the few teams that had like 6 or 7 different half-buy, force-buy strategies, and we're prioritizing Tech 9s and utility to try and get them together rather than just having, you know, let's have a couple of Deagles and just randomly have a faff about, which is sort of what a lot of other teams do in their half-buys. Gave them a lot of their success as well.
Yeah. Well, you do know that bLitz is quite the Deag man. So nice to see that he's one of those players implemented into this particular line of thinking. But 35 seconds, and there's no smokes really for the Mongols. They're just going to have to fight their way through it. And they have chosen to move towards the weaker side. ATOX are currently trying to plug that gap. Annihilation rotating his way over with an M4. He's been silent about his approach, so his timing should be good here. Oh god, a couple of kills offered up. Senzu able to deal with him, but his teammates actually on the site have done a great job of deterring them.
Oh.
Techno with a Glock that finishes a kill, but doesn't have the bomb, and even though he gets both the frags, couldn't get the plant and extend play, so actually needed to die. So the fact that he even gets those 2 kills does make it a very expensive round for ATOX, considering how well it started on the whole.
In case anyone's like me and for a second is thinking, well, there's 6 seconds left, just wait for him to stay alive, and it's fine. He could have actually just gotten the M4 that Zesta had and just hidden away, which would have made it so it wouldn't have mattered. So yeah.
Yeah, he would have been saving more money than
the
other way around, so.
It takes him down there. Good nade damage, but Techno's got those hurt more, as well as the shrapnel from the HE. Dobu slowed down by it, and Techno had already moved past. And if Dobu can come through with a quick double on Banana, why can't Techno? Well, meanwhile, pushes forward. He's good for 2 big frags. Keeps himself alive for the 3rd duel, but didn't quite have the bullets in the magazine to make it work. Mzinho, annoying position. Out in second mid.
Yeah. What a problematic spot for ATOX to have been engaged with. You know, to lose those fights over towards Banana. And you can see Cabal tried his best to hold on to that bomb site, but up against his old in-game leader, bLitz knew what he was up to. As soon as he found those first 2 frags, knew there was only so many bullets that Cabal would have left to play with. It's strange.
When was Cabal gelling for bLitz? Was it in checkmate?
I mean, Cabal didn't in-game lead. It's like,
oh, sorry.
bLitz is
sorry.
his old in-game leader.
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
My bad. I was just like, whoa. Terrorists win. I didn't know about this. No, makes sense. Sorry.
It is definitely interesting to have both Annihilation and Cabal now as these TheMongolz, or at least previous iterations of the team before it became what it is. You know, I guess it's ex-teammates of Techno and bLitz, because the whole core has really shifted.
Hey man, Score's gonna make his way down under over here pretty soon as well, with the way things are going at the Huns. Not sure about whether they would welcome him in. Double nades, triple nades, mollies all over the place. Mick with the MP9 though is a deadly man. Smoke in his hand, and bLitz has caught him out as he's trying to pull the gun back out. 3 versus 3, sure, but the numbers are deceiving. Doesn't feel like ATOX has a chance in this one.
If they find Mzinho trying to cut off the rotation or just lurking around in through middle, then things could get very dicey very quickly. But they've called him over, ushered him towards this B play, but they may have to be concerned about a flank faster than they realize.
Spots him out, might be contesting for too long. There's more players than he was ready for. 257's able to take him down, and there's AKs to be recovered. So it'll be a 2-on-3 with both sides having full rifles. Flashbang out from Cabal. Actually, they've got a lot of util as well.
Yeah,
they're going
for
to
an
be
exec.
executing over onto this B site. Rotation out from bLitz, but 910 has to be the one to take first point. Flash and dodge. Turns back around. Zesta taken down. Same position as he won around. 910 now waits for bLitz to take contact, but he's got to do it all on his own, and he does! It's a side of 3Ks in the post plant. 910 does what Zesta could as well earlier on.
Damn, and it looked like 910 had the worst end of those fights a number of times over, turning from flashes, turning from util, put down to so low HP at the very start of that 2-on-3. And his teammate was supposed to help there be another element, you know, someone that alleviates some of that pressure, because 910 was taking all of the aggression, but he's the one that has to put them all to rest. A massive 3K for the Mongols to retain their lead.
Wow.
And some nice shooting from Senzu to open up this round. Only one deagle was on that ATOX side. It's already been dealt with. Being very proactive.
As comfortable as it gets on
Being proactive, being efficient on the pistols, but, you know, even denying the kill. That USB could have finished off Techno, but 910 says, I'll do it myself. What is it with our favorites in the series? Team killing. On Inferno.
Hey. It's so easy that we gotta do it ourselves. Sending a message.
I mean, Amelia and Westmelon both did it as well, so I really just don't get it. Everyone just seems to TK against ATOX.
ATOX is so good to make you, like, beat yourself. That's the ultimate anti-strat.
Quit hitting yourself. ATOX actually studiers of voodoo.
Yeah. But what would you do if you've got to try and fight into brackets with Cabal and Zesta on the other side? Flashes need to be primed up. Cabal trying to get a little bit aggressive down middle. Finds 910, but the trade is there. Zesta's the one to make it a little bit uneven. Sensu's head is spinning, but they will still be in a 2 versus 2. Dobu finds Techno back in the B site. That's not going to be a duel that he loses twice over.
Yeah, Cabal made that first fight cleaner. Then he could have found himself into a multi-frag. Low HP on Senzu, and he just walks through the smoke. That could not have been a better play to have made. And Dobu is full running down bottom B. bLitz didn't over-rotate. He didn't just gun it all the way into the A-bomb site. Now he's playing with Dobu too. Tapped him first to let him know that his death was a certainty. bLitz is BMing.
It's a warning shot. If he spins around 360s in mid-air, then he deserves to die. Right, that's fine.
He deserves to win. I think is probably the way that bLitz would think about it. Like, if he hits that, whatever, I guess.
bLitz has to give them a chance, right? I can feel like it's fair, even if it's really not.
I do love the bravado of some of these top-level players in the Asian scene.
Mick found out the hard way what he's been dealing with on that banana area. Meanwhile, aggression on second mid comes out from the CTs. They try to get a pair out of bedrooms, but Mzinho's got this on the key. Very surprising performance coming out in the major from Mzinho. I don't think a lot of us expected him to be that good, but hopefully that's going to be one of those wind in your sails moment, and you can just continue sailing forward in the river of time and skill.
Yeah, because he looks sharp. Like when he's on, he's always looked sharp, but it felt like we didn't really get to see that very often out of him, especially when we got to bigger games. So yeah, nice that he's gotten a few confident series under his belt. I'd say the same with Senzu to a certain extent as well. I feel like he was almost ramping up towards the major is maybe the main difference. And I think some of these younger guys, I think it's very easy to be inconsistent for anybody as a Counter-Strike player, so the sooner you get over that, the sooner we start to see elite caliber start to form out of potential prospects.
I'm not going to be too critical because it is debut day, but we really haven't gotten the most out of Annihilation. So far, really, you can tell that he's feeling out the server again after being away from it for so long.
Maybe you'll get what you asked for here.
Turns away from the flashbang, had to do that. Right back into things he goes. Always known for his flicks, and bLitz's head will feel it.
This is very weird, though. I mean, they've got deep CT control, so it should be a B-sided finish, and it's all about whether that bomb can actually escape without getting hunted or hounded down. ATOX should start to realize that Brackets has been vacated, but they know that they've left this open for long enough now. Mick, high ground, spots out Mzinho, and so that call relayed over to the attack in towards B, but a series of kills found very quickly, and it's just that bomb and Techno trapped towards the mouth and entrance to this B bomb site, but they deal with one person in the flank. Zesta is there to greet them with open arms. Hey, thank you very much. And they didn't actually even have that bomb, sorry. It was dropped towards the bottom of B. They didn't want to commit. And it's an ATOX round that keeps them in it on this defense. That round was all over the place.
Yeah, I felt like Mick's kill on Mzinho was really what swung it around. Otherwise, you could just hear the Jaws theme music going on as Mzinho shift walks forward into CT spawn. Yeah. Not to mention, even if he sticks on the left side, Nobu's going to be caught on the rotate from Coffin into the back side, right? So that's another deal we could potentially take away. Great job from ATOX to keep it under control. And now as Mick's secondary off will be called to question. He does not have the answers. Turns out neither does the rest of ATOX. Creeps through apartments, all in the meanwhile. Cabal does find a frag, but he finds himself very lonely. Loneliness is temporary, my friend. You will be reunited with your team very shortly. Mongols up to 13. What a performance coming out from them.
Yeah, I mean, they played it slow the round prior, and they get punished for it, so they just speed up, and they find a series of kills very quickly. A very commanding way to finish off that map, but I think another sort of, not poor, but I definitely very...